Hey, I'm Andreas and I've been investing for over 10 years. In today's video, let's talk about who really owns PRCH Group, and more specifically the institutional ownership and what it looks like in a more mature company, because there's plenty of buying power still to go. If we take a look right now, I know there's not a whole lot of news on PRCH Group, so I'm covering a bit of an older article regarding the ownership structure. That's what we got until the next quarterly earning comes out in about a month. But right now we can see about 56% institutional ownership in PRCH Group, and we can compare that to more of a big favorite in institutions such as American Waterworks Company here, where it's almost 90% of the company that's held by institutions. So institutional ownership is one of the twin engines that propels the rocket to the moon, and the rocket being the stock in this case. We have the PE ratio with earnings driving up valuations and the price going higher as a result of that. And then we also have the institutional ownership, the sigil of approval from Wall Street that drives stock prices higher. In this case, we can see the key insight here that this implies a significant influence over the company's share price. Indeed, block trades are going to make a huge difference, and if institution decides to buy more or sell more, well, then we're going to see large fluctuations. And indeed, share price of PRCH Group is very volatile. However, we also see that insiders own 21% of PRCH Group, and this is a very large stake. We're seeing an owner-operator who has a significant stake in the company. So this is an explanation of who controls PRCH Group. And if you want to take more of a closer look at who actually owns it, the institutions, well, you can do that on the Nasdaq data. It will list the funds that hold it. It's the usual suspects with, BlackRock, Morgan Stanley, etc. Different funds investing in the company. Why is this important? Well, as we can see in the article here as well, huge amounts of capital is being controlled by institutions, and this supply and demand really affects short-term fluctuations in the stock price. And it also tells us something about PRCH Group, and many institutions here, they measure performance against indexes, and it tells us something about the risk in this case, because you don't really want to be wrong when you're an institutional investor. Nobody's being fired for buying IBM, as the old saying was in Peter Lynch's time. So you want to do safer bets with less risk. And when PRCH Group managed to secure the secondary insurance access to that market, well, then the risk also came down substantially. Once again, CEO here, Matt Ehrlichman, 19% of shares outstanding. This represents the insider ownership. And then we also see some other insiders. But for the general public, for us as retail investors, we represent a 24% stake in this company. So we don't really call any shots. We're very fragmented, but we can snap up the crumbs that are out there, and that's plenty enough to make a nice big profit if we are right. But for this stock, once again, large insider ownership, large institutional ownership, and over time I think that we will see this stake here that's held by the general public, it will become smaller as institutions gobble up more of the float. Performance dependent, of course, but in the second half of the year, historically, it's been very good for PRCH Group with less extreme weather. And let's see if that pattern repeats itself this year as well. We saw the same performance in the first half with less than index, and then a roaring return at the second half of the year. Anyways, that's been it, covering who owns PRCH Group, taking a look at insider ownership, institutional ownership, and as always, hope you make a ton of money, whatever investments you decide to make. Take care now. Bye bye.